In 2010, an unprecedented event swept the entire internet following a kidnapping in Veracruz, Mexico. The famous hacker collective Anonymous declared war on Los Zas, the country's most dangerous cartel, notorious for its brutality and blatant disregard for human rights. Yet the burning question on everyone's mind was, how could a group like Los Zas possibly target hackers who hide behind anonymous screens? And how could Anonymous actually hurt a group that even Mexican government couldn't take down? The answer, without giving too much away, is that both sides were capable of inflicting serious damage, to the point of potentially causing the loss of hundreds of lives. What makes the story we're about to dive into so fascinating is that these two forces were organizations that no government or corporation could control, meaning that the potential losses in both human lives and money were simply incalculable. And what ultimately happened, you'll learn in this video.
Hey, ¿cómo estás? My name is Steven.
And this is But to understand the magnitude of this conflict, we first need to clarify who Anonymous really is. Few organizations in the world are as famous as Anonymous, yet hardly anyone knows what originally catapulted them to notoriety. And it wasn't their iconic mask, though many think it's cool, enough to tattoo on themselves, that made them famous. Rather, it represents Guy Fawkes, a revolutionary Catholic rebel who participated in the 1605 gunpowder plot to blow up the Houses of Parliament in London. After his failed attempt, he was executed. Thus, the image of that mask came to symbolize protest and rebellion, especially after the release of the film V for Vendetta, based on the graphic novel of the same name. In this way, the hybrid group of hacker activists known as Anonymous adopted the mask as their emblem while maintaining complete anonymity. It's believed that the origins of this collective date back to 2003, emerging from image boards in a forum called Hackers, where early users engaged in pranks and online experiments. Over time, however, they gained global attention with their actions during the Chinology project in January 2008, a website initiative in which Anonymous promoted protests in the name of free speech on the internet, launching campaigns against the Church of Scientology. They argued that the church's operations were unethical, functioning like a profit-driven corporation while reaping tax benefits and amassing a cult-like following, all while making life miserable for former members who dared expose its dark side. In response, Anonymous hit the table by organizing massive cyber acts against the church, staging thousands of protests outside its establishments, and earning widespread respect with Operation Payback, a campaign of vengeance against opponents of internet piracy that culminated in a series of attacks on organizations regulating the arts, such as the music and film industries, as well as law firms tasked with shutting down sites like Pira TV. Months later, they joined forces for Operation avenge a series of cyber attacks on services like PayPal, MasterCard, and Amazon after these companies blocked funding for WikiLeaks. In short, the establishment was fiercely opposed to such actions, as they weren't in the habit of silencing and controlling whatever they pleased. But with Anonymous now in the game, the narrative shifted. No longer could they be dismissed as a bunch of idle kids online. They were now a force of powerful hackers in an increasingly digital world. Possessing knowledge of computer system vulnerabilities carried enormous weight, and every government or corporation had to think twice before taking action they deemed unjust. So, what led an organization that typically fought against major corporations to suddenly find itself clashing with Mexico's most dangerous cartel? To answer that, we must move to December 2010. At that time, Anonymous was announcing what would be known as Operation Paperstorm, a global event aimed at raising awareness about censorship, free speech, corruption, and the rejection of mass surveillance. through a dedicated website. Users could download flyers detailing the operations message, designed to alert the public to the injustices occurring around the world. In addition, Anonymous released a video outlining the project's objectives. In response, people from every corner of the United States, Europe, and Latin America prepared to take to the streets at midnight, donning their masks to distribute protest flyers. That highlighted the issues they felt were most pressing, adapting the message to fit their local realities and beliefs. After all, one hallmark of Anonymous is that it isn't a hierarchical organization with fixed ideals. Anyone can act in its name, as anonymity is merely a tool to shield oneself from the retribution that the elite might inflict when their interests are challenged. Of course, there are key figures who wield greater influence within the group. In this case, a young Mexican recruit from Veracruz joined Operation Paper Storm. But where he lived, he faced an extra layer of danger not encountered by his counterparts in Europe or the United States. In many parts of Mexico, wandering the streets at night can expose you to the whims of cartel members who rule their territories with an iron fist. And simply because the young man's flyers didn't sit well with them, they decided to silence him by kidnapping him in the dead of night. The details of how this was carried out, and even who exactly this young man was, remain shrouded in mystery. I'll explain later why I believe that is the case. Not even witness testimonies or family reports to the authorities were made public. If any were filed at all, since involving the police in such cases can sometimes make matters even worse. Shortly after, a local activist group noticed that one of their key members had stopped appearing in their online chat rooms. Suspicions quickly arose that he had been abducted by Los Zas, the brutal Mexican cartel notorious for its extreme violence. Founded in the late 1990s by former Special Forces members, Los Zas rapidly built a fearsome reputation with shocking attacks like the San Fernando massacre and the assault on the Royal Casino. Their ruthless ambitions centered on dominating Nuevo Laredo, a critical gateway for drug trafficking into the United States. Furious and unwilling to be intimidated, the hacktivist collective, Anonymous, resolved to fight back. They believed that even behind the screen, they could deliver a decisive blow to a group that embodied everything they despised. On October 6, 2011, Anonymous released a menacing video featuring a figure in a Guy Fawkes mask speaking in Spanish with a computerized loquendo voice. In the video, the masked spokesperson demanded the immediate release of their kidnapped comrade and condemned Los Zas for a litany of crimes: kidnapping, extortion, and the systematic abuse of everyday citizens. The message also warned that if the authorities failed to act, they would expose not only cartel members, but also any officials, journalists, or law enforcement collaborators who aided them. The video sent shockwaves throughout Mexico. Initial doubts quickly gave way to widespread concern as the broadcast spurred intense discussions on television and across online forums. Adding fuel to the fire, a source close to Anonymous revealed that they had obtained data on Los Zas' top 100 contacts. The cartel's silence in the face of these accusations only heightened tensions, prompting the launch of Operation Cartel, a coordinated cyber campaign tracked on Twitter under the hashtag #OpCartel. In a subsequent daring move, Anonymous targeted Gustavo Rosario Torres, a government official and former prosecutor from Tabasco, accused of involvement in a drug trafficking scheme linked to Los Zas. By hacking his website and posting a terse message, Gustavo Rosario and Los Zas, they not only aimed to expose his alleged corruption, but also to destabilize the cartel further. This action threatened to open the floodgates for rival factions to exploit the chaos, marking the beginning of a relentless digital assault against one of Mexico's most feared criminal organizations. A few days after the leak, a Facebook post accused the Mexican government of colluding to derail Anonymous's operation against the cartel. The post questioned the authenticity of the revelations and suggested that the supposed kidnapping might have been a hoax, risking everything for nothing. This sparked a heated debate. While some doubted the event without knowing the victim's identity, many argued that keeping his name secret was the safest way to protect him and his family, revealing it could have forced the cartel's hand. leading to executions if the young man were freed and forced to testify as tensions mounted. A large segment of the internet, especially the Veracruz community, watched anxiously, uncertain of how the conflict would unfold. News outlets dedicated entire segments to the issue, and CNN even interviewed Scott Stewart, Vice President of Tactical Intelligence at Stratford. Stewart compared the showdown to a 1950s film where the Wolfman battles Frankenstein, two mismatched monsters clashing unpredictably, with neither the government, police, nor military able to restrain either side. The stage was set for chaos. Los Zas, the cartel, was not going to sit back. Many believed that because Anonymous operated in the shadows, the cartel couldn't reach them. However, some security experts warned that Los Zas might hire hackers to trace Anonymous members. Although pinpointing them was difficult even for resource-rich governments, the cartel could still harm the kidnapped individual, even fatally. In fact, two alleged Anonymous hackers later admitted they halted plans to expose Los Zas collaborators, fearing that doing so might trigger retaliatory attacks on innocent bystanders. With the blame falling, Twitter users cautioned that the operation was too dangerous. While some with superior skills might escape, others would pay the ultimate price. Anonymous even advised the public to avoid the conflict without robust identity protection, a message that resonated widely among Mexicans. Yet, despite these warnings, some rallied behind Operation Cartel, willing to risk everything. Meanwhile, a faction of Hispanic American hackers launched Operation Blackout to expose all data on the cartel's government collaborators, favoring dramatic names to heighten the spectacle. Then, on November 4th, 2011, Anonymous announced on their website, "Today, our anonymous comrade held captive by Los Zas has been released. Though battered, he is safe and sound." However, the victory was bittersweet. The release came with a chilling warning. If even one cartel name was revealed, the detained member's family would suffer with 10 people executed for every name. Confronted with this threat, Anonymous declared that they would not disclose any information, intensifying the debate over the kidnapping's legitimacy. An insider known as Ela later confirmed that the victim, a young man in his early 20s, had been released on November 3rd, 2011, and rejoined their online chat under strict orders of silence. Rumors persisted that Anonymous had uncovered more secrets about Los Zas, but those details remain hidden. The following year, however, the notorious cartel leader, Heriberto Lascano, was taken down by the Mexican Navy, weakening Los Zas until they were no longer the country's most feared cartel.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if there is a case you'd like us to investigate, leave it in the comments. Subscribe and follow us on Instagram, Death Cases, for more stories like this. Goodbye and have a good day.